a picture and tell us why you picked that particular picture and why it meant something to you, and what you've done this past year in photography and what you see yourself as doing next year in photography. So we can go ahead and look at the picture. Should we do that?
You're the
Is
boss.
anybody there?
Yeah, you're the boss.
Yes.
Oh, I'm the boss. Okay, well, I'm gonna share my screen, and what I've done is put all the pictures except for Don Stouter's. I put them in a folder, and I open the folder and open the pictures in preview, and go in the order that the pictures are in. The order determines on whether I used your first name or your last name, and it's alphabetical according to that. So it's not true it's not truly alphabetized. Like Alan Muro might be first, but then again he might be in the M's. I don't know, but here we go. And again, you talk a little bit about the picture and why it meant something to you, how this past year has gone for you, and what are your plans for next year? Okay. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen. And I've got a bunch of Zoom things here. Let's see, get this out of here, this out of here. And I've got a folder, show your stuff. And I'm going to open this up and select all and open in preview. And so here we go. Number one is Alan Muro.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So I like photographs that give you a feeling that you're bringing back something from your memory. I don't know. I like things that evoke emotions or evoke thought, and so that's the reason I chose this photograph. I took this not long ago, and it's taken through a window, and it's a picture of at the Redondo Beach Pier. So for me, the right side of the picture is reality, and this is called Through the Looking Glass, and the main character is the pelican, wooden pelican, and he's kind of positioned to look out these windows at what's going on outside. And it's kind of a lonely existence, and it's kind of like Pinocchio. He's sitting there solitary and wants to, this is what it kind of means to me. And then outside is this kind of a vision of a lot of things going on. So you can see outside the windows. You can still see the inside of the cafe, but you can see outside the windows. There's a man in a blue shirt, and another fisherman, and with a red shirt on, and you can see various things that have been laying out in on the pier. But with the reflection, you can see the water, the ocean, and you can also see the Palos Verdes Peninsula and tackle box and a lot of various things. So to me, it's a picture of longing and wanting to be real from a pelican who's just a wooden statue. So, and it's kind of reminds me of Alice in Wonderland too. So I haven't been doing too much. This is one of the few times I've gone out. I did get a picture of the moon eclipse this year, but I haven't been able to show it, and I don't have the lenses to, do it very well. This coming year, I bought a new lens. It's a kind of a lens that you can do a zone focusing on, and I think I'm going to try out that lens because I don't know how to use it yet. So that's what I'm. It's a 28 millimeter f5.6 lens. So that's what I'm going to try to do this year. Any questions?
What time of day was this taken at?
What kind of day?
Yeah, what time of day?
Oh, what time of day? Oh, it's in the morning.
Okay.
And when I went out there, usually there's a lot more people out there, and it was kind of gloomy, COVID kind of thing, and there only there are just a few fishermen and not too much action, so not a good place to get a lot of people shots.
Alan,
Yes.
if I'm not mistaken, that's your reflection, isn't it, on the right?
Yes, that's my reflection on the right. If I wasn't standing, against the window and darkening it, you wouldn't be able to see the inside of the
Right. Yeah,
cafe very well.
That's what I figured. Yeah, and I also like the idea that your reflection is there. It also, it adds that dimension as well. And I like the contrast of the clarity, the real clarity on the right, because you were standing there and the reflection's gone, and then all the reflections through the glass on the left. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, and I like the things that you really can't see that well, and that kind of a ghostly image.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. It's an interesting image. When I first looked at the picture, Alan, I didn't see the pelican. I'm glad you talked about it. I saw a lot more once you went through what your thoughts were.
Yeah, I thought I had enough leading lines going to that pelican. The pier coming from the behind, and the seat coming up from the foreground, and then the wooden things, and he kind of sticks out as far as his color and the contrast. So anyway, that's I don't know what else to do to make it more a visual impact for this picture.
It's interesting. It's very interesting.
You have a very deep depth of field, which is unusual, but I guess because you're using a 28 millimeter, that just comes with that focal length, right? Yes.
I think so. I forgot what exactly my settings were, but it was probably 5.6, or maybe it was 8.
Were you inside the restaurant or outside?
Outside the restaurant, looking into a window.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know. I've taken pictures here before, and so I decided, there was nothing else around to take pictures of, really. I had a good picture of a figure on the cement. Oh, okay.
Sorry about that. I'll go back. I have one comment about the figure, the yellow, is that a duck? Pelican.
Pelican.
What I did with my eye was I was drawn right in with your leading line, and went right out that light window and went right by the pelican.
Oh.
And I wonder if darkening that window would put more attention on if you wanted to. I mean, it's your point of view, but if you wanted to, if that would put more
yeah,
of the line of sight on that pelican.
I
Anyway,
would be-
it's a thought.
Yeah, that's a thought. That would be a little difficult to do, I think, but I think it adds a lot that you can see, you know, the pier and everything outside that window, though. I don't know.
Well, my vision was all of the, from left to right was the vision of where everything you could see as you look straight through the,
I see.
to the outside. And, you know, it's interesting how we can all take something different from what you're presenting. It's a very nice image.
Alan,
Yes.
I haven't found you yet. I don't know where you are in this picture.
Oh,
On the
See,
right,
dark-
there's a
see
shadow.
on the shadow on the that,
Oh, the shadow goes
that
out
actually
right up to the
allows me
corner. I got it.
to see inside the cafe. Otherwise, the whole thing would be a reflection.
Right. No, I didn't make that shadow out to be a person. Okay, I got it.
Okay, we're gonna go on. Okay,
Okay.
next, this is Bill Berry's.
Yeah, this shows a great deal of my life in the past few months. That's my new grandson, Mark. And I've been taking quite a few pictures of him, but in so doing, have discovered new things that I really enjoy. Now, we'll talk about this picture a little bit more in detail in a minute. A second thing happening to my photographic activities is I'm sick and tired of computers. And I've had it with sitting around spending more time doing computing than I do photographing. I don't want to do that. And I'm looking for ways to get out of it. One of the things that I've gone to is doing more in-camera processing. And that's really one reason I use the Sony so much is because it offers a lot interesting things to do. I won't name them. I think everybody's familiar with it. But I'm trying to do as much as possible in camera and have it finished so that when it comes out, I'll have at most maybe some cropping to do or sharpening or a little bit of lightening or darkening and this kind of thing. And that's it. This is an example of my work. Another thing that I've found, to my amazement, as I've shifted to some of these prime lenses, very fast prime lenses. I'm talking 1.8, this kind of thing. In darkened surroundings, inside the house at night, where before I would have to use a flash, now it's simple. This is without flash. It's not a light environment, although it looks that way. But those lenses are so much fun to experiment with. I can't put them down. That's it. So fast primes are my another interest I have. And was there a question? Yeah. And I haven't been doing much flash work at all because its effect on pictures such as this are terrible. See, you notice how the shadows under the cheek, the shadows around the eye, up across the forehead on the right side of the head. These are all wonderful effects of the available light there. And if I would use a flash, it would wipe those out. And so I've been experimenting with the with prime lenses. Oh, what's going on?
Emily, you need to mute if you're going to move around.
Also, Emily, are you able to go to full screen there on the image so we don't see the pictures on the right and your desktop? And you can see the image larger.
You have to turn off, I think I learned this last time when you gave a talk. Is that Darlin?
Well, that was Adela making the suggestion. I don't know how you do it, but
Well, you turn off, everybody has to turn off the, you go down to the bottom of the screen.
no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying just the view. We're viewing your desktop, the other pictures in your browser.
Yeah, I don't know how to, I don't know how to get. rid of that
If you
except-
double click on that picture, does it become large?
Yeah, click on the green button on the preview. It might make it the whole screen. Might take over your whole.
Yeah, we're trying to get you to full screen.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
whole screen. So that's all we see is the image.
Right, so click on, within preview, click on the,
At the top or the bottom?
at the top, there's the three buttons, there's the red, yellow, and green. Pick on the green one and see if it'll make it big so we don't see your desktop.
Pick a green one.
Yeah,
I
on-
see, I see in green up at the top, you are screen sharing, and I see
Go,
above that,
go
I
to the
see.
left, go to the left. Okay,
Yes.
keep cursor, keep going to the left.
It's
See
mute,
where the
mute,
little
mute.
dots are?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I think he's
Okay,
talking
oh,
about your green
it
and
went
yellow
away.
and reds or.
If you go to view,
Okay.
I think you
Yeah.
could
Yeah,
do
go to
full
view.
screen. Full screen.
Let's see.
Zoom to.
No, no,
Zoom
not
to
in this, not in this view. I am on a Mac. and
Right.
Go
it
to
has-
No.
Beverly,
No, no,
down
no,
at the
no.
bottom,
Oh,
says
got it. Enter full
slideshow.
screen.
So
There you go. There you go.
There,
Yay,
thank you.
thank you.
Now, if we wanted to get rid of the pictures on the side, we would all have to close our picture, at the bottom of the
No,
screen.
I wasn't asking for that. I was asking
On
for
the fine
that,
are
and you've
fine.
done it. Thank you.
Pictures on the side.
So here we are. This is Bill again. Sorry, Bill.
All right, okay, moving right along.
Sort of.
So I've been having a wonderful time playing with shadows like this rather than fooling with a flash. And that's led me into not only just ambient light, but also continuous lighting, which is a new field. And I've started playing with that, and I'm going to continue that during the coming year. Is everybody familiar with that concept?
No.
If you took a flashlight and shined it on your subject, that's continuous light. But there are much better ones now and brighter, and you can select from the spectrum, the entire spectrum of colors, and just pick out the color you want for the particular scene. And of course, continuous lighting, you can put up whole banks of them in different places. Play around with the shadows and so forth. But that's another project. It's not directly related, although partially related to what I'm doing here.
Yeah, that would be nice to light your background with a different color light,
Yeah,
and that would bring out your subject even better.
well, I can do that now, but I just didn't have the time for this one. And that's the kind of thing you do. And of course, get different kinds of shadows on the face and whatever you want. A lot of playing around, constructing the image that you want to take. This is just an example. This has no continuous lighting at all. It's all ambient. And I just kind of repositioned myself to get what I liked in the way of lighting. Okay.
Bill, are you familiar with those cinema? You know, a lot of cinema is photographed with different color lights, and
Yeah.
and like they
That's
may have a green light on everything, and then another one with just a yellow light on the person, and that person comes to life.
Yeah, video is a leader in that kind of lighting, and they've been doing it for years with these huge lighting, but now they're getting smaller and smaller, so that the still photographers can use them and carry them around.
Oh,
And it's a lot of fun. It's a technology that is developing fast, and more people are starting to use it. I like it. It's fun.
I'm gonna go ahead.
Oh, no.
You got more? Okay.
Well, so anyway, my goals for the year are more in-camera processing and less computer processing. By the way, I'm not using Adobe products anymore. Right now, I have them. If I need them, I can, but I just don't like to use them anymore because of the new Adobe plan. Everything is on a cloud. I hate clouds. We used to use clouds many years ago when computers were first coming out, and they got me so much against that I can't emotionally handle it. So I want it all under direct control, total positive direct control. You can't do that from a cloud or with a cloud.
Bill,
Yeah.
have you gone to another photo editing program that doesn't deal with the cloud instead?
Right now, I am using Apple Photos that comes with the operating system and having a ball. It's really fun. I enjoy it a lot. If people aren't familiar with it, well, I think, oh gosh, what's the one that something 4, Luminar 4 is similar. Is similar to that.
Skylum, something like that.
Luminar.
And Luminar is one of the software programs where you can do all kinds of things.
Yeah.
Play skies and that's
So is Photos.
Lightroom and Photoshop are coming out with abilities to color the shadow, the highlights, and the midtones different colors, and create that cinematic light you're talking about. One's called Color Blend or Color something.
Branding, I think.
Pardon me?
I think it's color branding.
It used to be where you did split toning. It's taken the place of split toning. And then they've got another one where it's called calculations. And they're using it to color, and you can color things based on the amount of red pixels, blue pixels, or green pixels that are in that particular image. And it's amazing what you can do, but it's a Photoshop thing or a Lightroom thing. It's not what Bill's talking about.
Bill, have you tried the Sony software? I use that for my infrared a little bit.
I'm sorry.
Sony
Anyway.
software, they have a processor too.
Yeah.
What's causing that moire effect over there on the right side of the picture behind the, why does that have that
What are you talking
pattern,
about?
moire pattern?
There's a piece of furniture over there with a red ribbon around it and a yellow top.
No, the wall behind it.
Wall behind it.
Then there's a wall.
A screen?
And right next to the wall is a moire pattern.
Is there a screen or a playpen or
No,
something,
it's
Bill?
part of the wall. It's in the wall, that pattern.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's in the wall.
It
because
looks like a screen or something, maybe.
Well, yeah,
It's
I don't
spelled
know.
MOIRE. It's a moire
Yeah.
phenomenon that occurs with certain.
It's just a lumpy screen.
Okay.
Anyway,
Lumpy screen.
we're going to go to the next one, and
Okay.
this one is Don Sandersfeld.
Thank you, Beth.
And give us your
Yeah,
title.
for the last year, I've been doing mostly avoiding people and going out doing Madrona Marsh or the South Coast Botanic Garden or Bolsa Chica and doing a lot of bird photography and some flower photography. And then they opened up SOAR at the South Coast Botanic Garden. So I get to play some with my macro lenses. And I was thinking this was a good way to show the macro and what I'd done. And they always say it's the face that makes the picture, not the. So I thought I'd try that with the face and not the wings on this butterfly. And it's actually a beautiful butterfly. So, although it might look a little strange to most of us.
I'm in love.
Did you use a macro lens, Don?
Yeah. Yes, this is a macro lens up close.
No flash.
No, I don't think I had any flash on this one. And it's about f11, f16, I'm not sure which. And
The closer you get, the more you have to stop down on your aperture in order to get the depth of field and get even the distance from the legs to the body could be out of focus if you don't go up on your aperture number. You have to close down the aperture to get more depth of field.
But then
Did
at
you
some
handhold
point,
that, Don?
I did. If I go much beyond f16, I get diffraction softening the image.
yeah,
So, and if you, you're sort of trapped in between diffraction and resolution from the smaller aperture.
don't most
No.
lenses have their best sharpness at about somewhere between f9 and 11 or something like that?
By 6.
8 to
It's-
11.
All
But
right,
if he had taken this at 8, if he got the legs in focus, the body where you see the orange and the yellow, or the reddish orange and the yellow and the black, that would be out of focus.
I understand that, Ben, but I was putting a limit on how far up the f
Oh, yeah.
numbers he could go. You're right, if it goes down to f8 or something, he's gonna lose the depth of field.
Don, it depends on the lens. That is a different point for every lens. For
Right.
normal, roughly normal lenses, you have that 8 to 11 sweet spot. On the macro, I think it goes up to f42.
No, you turn it to f40.
You can turn it to f42, so
But the sweet
the
spot's
sweet
still
spot
around
moves
11,
over.
still
11 to
11 or
16.
16 in that area.
Instead of 8 to 11, it's closer to 11 to 16.
I see.
I used to wonder why all my
And,
macros were out of focus when I had an aperture of 8 and would go really close to something and try to take its picture and things would be out of focus.
Yeah.
I keep learning new things.
Don, are you holding this butterfly, or is this fingers in the background there, or how did you get so close?
No,
to
that's, well, this is at the SOAR, which is at the South Coast Botanic Garden. They have a butterfly exhibit.
Pavilion.
Okay, it's a pavilion, not an exhibit, and this butterfly is resting on a branch, which is the light brown at the bottom. And behind it, there are some other, I think they're branches from plants, trees going across.
They look like fingers.
And
Yeah.
yeah, they're not.
How
And-
close were you physically from the butterfly?
Oh, probably about a foot
Wow.
from the 8 inches to a foot from the front of the lens to the butterfly.
And your
They're
focal,
very, it's 105 millimeter on a crop sensor,
Mhm.
so 157 equivalent. And
So are you looking
What is-
at it up from the top down or the side, or what is your relationship to the butterfly?
I am about the same elevation as the butterfly is, and the butterfly is about 6 inches off the ground.
Okay.
So I'm
you're laying down on the ground, are you?
I'm sitting down on the ground and leaning way forward.
Yeah.
trying to hold steady, because getting the focus on anything this close is very hard, especially when you're hand holding the camera.
I'm impressed, Don, that you managed to get back up.
I'm thinking the same thing for me.
The challenge about getting back up is that a lot of the butterflies like to lie on the ground to warm up, and you don't want to step on them as you get up.
Ooh.
So,
Painted Lady is the one I can think of that I almost stepped on.
yeah.
Yeah.
But that was the
I never would imagine the butterfly looked like this so close up.
Yeah, I never figured that the faces looked like this either. I always just saw the wings.
Yeah.
It's kind of frightening.
Yes.
It's not very pretty this way.
No.
No.
You were lucky to get
I
the
love it.
proboscis out like that,
Yeah.
because sometimes they contract it all the way in, so you're lucky. And also
One of the things
the
about
blue
our exhibit-
morpho, it's got a really fantastic looking eye. It's a striped looking eye.
What kind of
Yeah, one of the
butterfly
things
was
about
this?
this,
I don't remember.
pretty.
That doesn't have a striped eye of a morpho, I guess. So it's not.
No,
a
he
morpho.
doesn't.
Okay, I'm gonna go to the
But that's
next.
a real interesting. And,
You ready?
okay. Well, I got couple more things. The other things I've been doing, I've been working with a study group. It was originally going to be just beginners and explaining what an aperture is versus an f-stop. And they're working on that and about to move on. And the other thing is, for next year, I'm looking at maybe doing some travel photography if things keep getting better as they have been, and maybe doing some photographs that tell stories. So, and that's about it, unless there are any questions, any more questions.
Okay. We'll go to the next one.
Sure.
This one is Emily
That's mine.
Sandersfeld. Yes.
I took this about 10 years ago, maybe, yeah, 10 years ago, underwater in Hawaii with the only camera I had then, an Olympus 8080. It's a JPEG. Handheld, obviously. It was a bridge camera, had a housing. I was probably about 20 feet down. There are little bits, the little dots you're seeing are little bits of coral and debris floating in the water. The challenge with this one was once you hit about 10 feet, you start losing all the reds. And as you get deeper in the water, you first lose your reds, then your oranges, then your yellows, greens. So when you see pictures that are brightly colored, it's because somebody has used one or more big strobes to provide daylight equivalent lighting. I did not use that. So the processing I have done with this, since it was a JPEG, had to be kind of minimal, but I added some pink back in. So he's got pink on the inside of his mouth, and some of the coral and the seaweed in the back is kind of pinkish because it really is. And I chose this one. It means a lot to me because I really, for a long time, I was kind of the finder of things to take pictures of for Don. He took my SLR, my film SLR, and we had a big housing that was, I don't know, 3 feet wide, 2 feet deep, big old strobe that stuck out 3 or 4 feet, and it was heavy. It was neutrally buoyant, so it didn't sag so much, but it was real hard to maneuver. So Don would be pushing this big thing through the water and I would point out things to take pictures. The 8080 was even housed, was less than a foot wide. And it had a internal flash, and the housing had a diffuser on it so that you didn't blast everything out. And this is meaningful to me because I really, really enjoy spending time underwater. And we've been trying to go.
How far down was it, Emily?
About 30 feet, I think.
Wow.
What is the fish or whatever?
It's a moray eel.
I thought it was an eel.
Actually, it's not a moray. It's a
spotted moray.
It's a spotted moray. We have green morays here in Southern California. That's a spotted moray.
Great shot.
So you did use a flash. Did you use
No.
You did use a flash, right?
No, I have gone back in and added pink back in with.
You didn't
Photoshop.
use flash.
Yeah.
No, I didn't use flash.
So at 30
If you
How
look
did
at
you
it,
stay so still? That's really a good picture.
it's sharp.
It's
the
sharp.
water, I might not have been 30, I might have been 20 feet down. Yeah, but the water is clear, and
If you're down 30 feet, you get enough light. Is that what you're telling us? That you get this much light, you could take pictures like this, but you'll lose colors like
On a
you get and things.
on a really bright day, it's hot.
In tropical waters where the water's clear.
Now, that's an amazing image.
Locally, the light doesn't go that deep.
And it's meaningful to me because it's something I'm going to start doing again. I haven't been diving now for 9 years. So, but I have been ocean swimming. So, and we live right around the corner from Dive and Surf. So there's hoping for stuff I want to start doing again.
So maybe in the
Thanks.
coming year, yes?
Maybe.
Sure.
Were you scuba diving or free diving?
Yes,
Scuba.
scuba diving.
To take this down. I was going to say,
sorry, Deb?
I'm sorry, I'm interrupting. Go ahead, I'm sorry. You're breaking up, so we can't hear you, or I can't hear you. Emily, I was just going to say that you'd have to be down there with air in order to set up the picture to take it, I would think. So I was commenting on what Alan was saying. That's all I was going to say.
Oh no, some of the most wonderful photographs I've seen have been free diving, especially the shallow ones. The ones that are in like 4 feet, the Australian reef pictures. If you look at a lot of them, you can see the reflection from the underside of the water. Because they're shallow diving and they're just going down, they know what they want, click.
But would you do that if you're down 30 feet?
They're pictures of opportunity. I mean, the morays will kind of sit there and hold still. But if you're taking octopi or sergeant major fish or something, no, you take the shot. It's like a sport. It's a wildlife shot.
Okay, well.
It's a spray and pray.
I hope you do more of these in the coming year. I'd like to see these. Not necessarily more eels, but just underwater things. It's amazing. So
well, I don't have a house. Okay.
You don't have a house for your camera.
Yeah, didn't have a house camera.
Oh, I guess I can still.
there's a small delay when you start to say something. So I'll start to say something as you're saying something at the same time, but you come in a little late and then I interrupt you. I apologize. Anyway, we're gonna go on to Jerry Fleury, okay? Here we go.
Well, hi, everybody. So the context of this photo is that I got invited to go with the Maryknoll Lee missioners to Kenya and Tanzania for 3 weeks. And so I was documenting basically the work they were doing over there in their missions. And it's sort of what I do. I get some pro bono work, maybe like 3 or 4 projects like this a year. And this was done in 2019. This was in a maternity ward where they actually have outpatient care too. And I was just leaving the area where the mom and new babes were. And so I'm walking out and I see this woman with a child. And I said, oh my gosh, I just waited. I was hoping the child would face me, but it never did. So I backed out, went back in the hospital, came back around. So she didn't see me. And I saw, a picture of Christ looking on her. And I said, it just appealed to me. I said, yeah, this is a Catholic mission and they provide basically free care for certain populations there within, I believe this is in Kenya, by the way. So it was I would say it wasn't staged, almost a snapshot, but I hung around and I studied the context for a while before I shot it. So, and she seemed not to be bothered by me being there taking a picture of her. But it's interesting, the hospital, if you were to visit, for those of you who are had visit hospitals in the 40s and 50s, this is the way the hospital is there in terms of their equipment. They hang babies for scaling, to weigh babies. They put them in a sling and they put them on like a scale and let them hang from the scale. To measure them, they lay them out and then they have like a wooden measurement device and they just stretch them out that way. That's how they measure them. Although they do have some latest state of the art things like for thermometers and so forth. So this particular it was kind of meaningful to me in a way that I felt here's this young woman already pregnant after just having a very small baby, just having a baby. I said, oh my gosh, I don't know how they're going to make it. That's pretty much the context and how I approached this shot. This past year, I didn't take a photograph. I didn't take one photograph. I worked around the house every day for 3 or 4 hours. Now I don't have to worry about it. And I'm off and running right now. My first experience in photographing this year was I went to the LA National Cemetery in Memorial Day. And I spent about 4 hours in the morning just after it opened, shooting the flags and the tombstones and, getting angles. And the light was pretty much getting angles in terms of the tombstones and the flags. But I was treated to a Coast Guard auxiliary group showed up and they hadn't put the flags down the day before. They were then putting flags the day I was there, and which is Memorial Day itself. And it was really touched me in terms of the way they put the flag in. They would approach the tombstone, put the flag in, step back. If they were a veteran, they would salute for about 5 seconds, stop, take about a 10-second meditation, and walk on to the next grave. It wasn't just like walking down, plucking flags down. And that touched me too. And I got some decent photos there that day. So for the future, and the things I'm trying to learn right now is I'm planning for an 8-day trip to the Southern Oregon coast where I want to take some early morning and late evening shots of the water, giving that milky kind of a look after you do about a 4 or 20-second exposure. And so I've been practicing here on the coast in the evening, and I've been making some progress with that. And I've joined a PSA study group in compositing, so I'm trying to improve my compositing skills, and that's been pretty rewarding on that one. I got my oldest camera, it's a Mark II, Canon Mark II, converted to infrared, so I'm gonna be experimenting with that. And then the Marinol Mishers that brought me to Africa on this trip, when this photo was taken, they're thinking about making a trip to Haiti, and they've been talking to me about that. So maybe this year or early next year we go to Haiti. And then, as you know, I've been invited for 6 artists in residence programs in the National Park Service. So I'm starting to apply for some of those locations. I've been rejected for Denali and Acadia up in Maine several times, but I'm not giving up. I'm going to apply again this year and see, hopefully I can get one of them. That's pretty much my story in photography this past year and going forward.
Wow, amazing. You've got a lot on your plate.
It's fun.
So anybody have any questions or?
You didn't take one picture in all of 2020?
I did not. I didn't even get my camera out of the closet.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I just wasn't motivated. I just like, oh my gosh. So my wife and I pretty much stayed home. I've gotten a house now, like all the little things have been piling up for the past 10 years. Got them all out of the way. I got one more thing to do, and that's put a front gate up.
Wow.
Well, it's a good shot.
Beautiful, beautiful colors.
Yeah, very symbolic. Very symbolic of the people who lived in the community. They pretty much dress in those bright colors.
Beautiful woman. So you have a lot to do. I wish I had so much to do, but I'm next. Here's my picture. This one I took in April of this year. I did do a lot of photography, but it was all around home and along Paseo del Mar. And one early morning when the sun was coming up, and the sun is behind me, the photographer, and it wasn't up quite yet. And this fox was coming up the cliffside of Paseo del Mar. And it was unbeknownst to me, I was looking out at the ocean, and there was this huge wave of fog rolling in, and I was in my phase of shooting pictures of fog. And so I was really focused on that. And this fox actually moved around me because when he wasn't in my view yet, but somebody came up to me and they said, "Did you see the fox that was moving around you as you were sitting there taking pictures?" I was in a rollator and just taking pictures of the fog. And I said, "No, I didn't see him." And then I was sitting there and I thought, well, maybe he'll come back up again, or she. And so I sat there for about 15 minutes, and suddenly the fox appeared. And at the same time, this strip of light, it was literally a strip. The rest of the surrounding was dark, went right in on the fox. It was so bright that I took several pictures, and he was coming up slowly and looking at me like I didn't bother him at all. He had adapted to me. And this picture is really meaningful to me because I do not move around very fast anymore. And I thought I'll never get another picture of behavior, and I'll never get that close to animals. I never expected to get this close to this fox. This is cropped just a little. He was probably 2 to 3 feet away from me, looking at me and not worried at all. And so I took his picture. And so
you weren't worried either?
Pardon me? You
weren't worried either?
Oh, no. No, he was skittish, and no, I wasn't worried that he was going to do anything to me or anything. He was a skittish fox, and he came up, and then he speedily ran up the hill because there were more people around, and I think there was a place across the street where the foxes go to dig for gophers, and on Chelsea off of Paseo del Mar, and that's where he was headed. And then I brought some other people up to shoot him, and he was there for about 2 or 3 days. And I haven't seen him. I haven't seen him lately at all. This was in April. But
Beverly, I would say, some people may say you were lucky. I would say luck is when preparation meets opportunity. And I think you were prepared and you had the opportunity. Yeah.
I had a camera.
Well, and all the years you had with the camera too, right?
Well, that too, yeah. I have it set on my camera that I can quickly go to, it's called Memory One. And on Memory One, I have a 1600 speed, I have continuous focus, and I have rapid fire set. So I can just quickly switch to that and take the picture, and that's what I did.
Great. There you go.
Pardon me?
You were prepared.
Yeah, but I wish other animals would come up like that. So anyway, my goal is to take more pictures, and I've gotten into some macro. I would love to do a little bit of what Don Sandersfeld was doing and what Dick Merritt has done. I wonder if adding glass in front of your lens, and I don't know the names of the glasses, it escapes me, but you can focus in closer. But the amount of depth of field is so narrow when you do that you really have to practice. And so I thought I would do something like that. And then the other goal is to shoot with a slow shutter speed with water, and to go out and shoot the waves very slow shutter speed so that everything's calmed down. You have this sense of calm and beauty. I've never been able to quite manage to do that. Set the right ISO and the slow shutter speed and the aperture I want. So I want to practice that next year and see what I can get. And that's it.
Are you going to use a neutral density filter for that project?
If I have to slow down my shutter speed enough, of course I'd have to, yes. In fact, I was starting to use a neutral density filter, a 6. I think it was a number 6. I haven't done it for a while, and my short-term memory just leaves. If I haven't done it, I have to go back and kind of look things up again and start doing it. I took Mark Coleman's class on macro photography, and I thought it was excellent. And
Could you explain about what you're talking about regarding slower speeds and neutral density filter?
Well, if you do a slower speed, there's a triangle for exposure, and the triangle consists of shutter speed, aperture, and ISO. ISO increases the sensitivity of your camera, and you can only go up so far without having a lot of noise to increase its sensitivity. Slow shutter speed allows in lots and lots of light, and you have to stop down on your aperture, and you only want to stop down so far. And then the ISO, you have to adjust accordingly. And so sometimes you've got too much light, and you've got to put in a neutral density filter to shut down on the lights.
All right.
Or get the slow enough shutter speed that you want to get the effect that you want.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't refer
very badly.
Yeah, I did. I just about a year ago, well, just before I quit shooting, I bought. Yeah, I didn't realize you called them neutral density filters. I call them the stoppers, right?
Cut the light out.
Yeah. Okay. Like from slows down. I think slow it down 4 stops, 8 stops, or 12 stops.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And you call them neutral density. Okay. I'm sorry. Didn't know the terminology. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, so anyway, he wasn't going fast, and I probably had him at a 1260 speed, and I probably had to take out some this fox. I had to take out some noise, etc.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, we'll go on. This one is, you know who you are. I think it's Harry's.
That's mine.
Harry Warren, yes.
Yep, that's mine. I like working with appropriated images, and I like doing
plagiarism. I like plagiarism?
Yes, you can call it plagiarism if you like. I call it appropriated images. And I like doing composites with that kind of stuff, and especially with images that I get out of paintings of historical figures. I've done some at the club with Napoleon Bonaparte and Gertrude Stein from one of Picasso's paintings. And this all started one day when I was playing around with some photographs that I took at the Disney Concert Hall of the outside. And I was playing with parts of details of the outside, just kind of putting stuff together and seeing what I could get. And I finally ended up getting this kind of environment that to me looked kind of like a cave, but with a really kind of not natural kind of ceiling, but a cave. And I thought, Batman, this could be the Batcave. And so I thought, well, Batman, to have a Batcave, needs some Batmobiles. And so I looked on the internet for images of Batmobiles to appropriate or to plagiarize Michelle. And I found some. And I originally put in the black ones and arranged them in descending order, and then one on the left side. And I thought it was kind of dull. And I thought, no, Batman's kind of flamboyant kind of guy. And I think he needs something a little bit more flamboyant, or to put it another way, I think he needs a new Batmobile. So I kept looking and I found one that was more colorful, was bigger, looks faster, and I put that one in. So this is Batman's new Batmobile come into his Batcave. And I just liked it. I just thought it was kind of whimsical, and I kind of like that. I like the whimsy and the fantasy of it. But it's all based originally on real stuff, the photos that I took of the Disney Concert Hall, and then added all these other things as well. And what am I going to do? I haven't done a lot of photography in the last year. I did the scavenger hunt for the club. And about 3 weeks ago, I did my first foraging out to do a photo shoot with Steve Snyder, and I went to Dick Merrick's favorite little park, Averill Park, and had a really great time out there. It's very small, but it's a wonderful little park with lots of interesting things and animals and ducks and squirrels and banyan trees. So it was very nice to do that. And let's see, what am I going to do in the future? I want to play around with macro photography some more. I got some book on macro and a couple little pieces of equipment to do macro. Want to do some photo trips and more composites. This one, by the way, originally I was going to try to do something with some historical figures, but then it ended up, because of what it looked like to me, becoming more fantasy-like and whimsical. And I guess that's about it, unless anybody's got any questions.
Harry, this is Jerry.
Hey, Jerry.
Is this a photo? These are Photoshop composite?
Yes, I did them in Photoshop, right.
And how many layers about?
I think in this one, there's about between 10 and 12 layers.
And is one of the layers, well, you were talking about doing some work at the Disney Hall, and then you transitioned to this. Is one of the layers something you took at Disney Hall?
I did a trip to the Disney Concert Hall and took a bunch of photos of the outside. And a lot of them are details of the siding, which I just think is wonderful. So if you get rid of the cars, just completely get rid of the cars, everything else is based on details of the Disney Concert Hall, of the siding. And there's I think about 6 to 8 layers just of that put together.
Wow. Nice. Yeah.
And the reflections, what caused those? Just the lighting that's happened to occur on the siding that you happen to take of the
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
I don't know if you're familiar with what happened at the Disney Concert Hall in Reflections, but when Geary first did the building, there were all sorts of complaints from people living around there and businesses that at certain times of the day, the reflections from the sun just blinded people, and just was very, very bright. So they went in and a lot of the siding was buffed down to reduce the reflections. And but all that lighting that you see, all the white, is current reflections.
Mhm.
So at certain times of the day, you get all these wonderful reflections on the siding.
Yeah, about Harry, about the Dick Merrick here, about the Batmobiles. A couple of years ago, our family took a tour of the Warner Brothers studio, and they have, you can take pictures of the Batmobiles live there. So they have a number. And so if you're looking, if you want to take the real deal, take the Warner Brothers studio tour.
Well, you know, my daughter used to work at Warner Brothers a number of years ago, and she took me on a tour there once. They didn't have the Batmobiles at that time. This was about probably 20 years ago. And they
Yeah,
didn't
this is about a year and a half ago.
Oh, okay.
Or
Yeah.
2 years ago. Yeah.
But if you go on the internet looking for Batmobiles, you'd be amazed how many different ones people have designed. It's just
Yeah,
incredible.
Yeah, I don't remember how many there were, but there were several.
Yeah. Well, I might do that sometime. That sounds interesting.
But the Getty Center had, when I was there 2 months ago, they had a couple of Batmobiles.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't know if it's still there, but.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't know if I want all of you people coming to my park. It's getting too crowded, so I don't know I want all of you coming to my park.
Well,
Okay.
Michelle, I apologize, but
Yeah.
I'm probably going to go back. I got some really nice shots of some ducks.
Let me know. Let me know when. I live right across the street, so.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Next time I go, I'll let you know. That'd be nice.
Yeah, let me know.
Okay.
I'll show up.
So I'm allowed.
Well, yeah.
Oh, my.
Yeah, but Bev, your duck now, your duck. It just looks like a duck. It's lost all its beautiful feathers now.
Tell me the name of the duck again. I'm
Well,
blanking.
The wood duck.
Wood duck. Yeah, the beautiful. Oh my.
Well, I ran into a duck with its ducklings, and it did not like me being there.
Oh,
So
really?
I got a shot of it turning to me and doing this.
Yeah, yeah. No, there's this beautiful wood duck. Oh, just gorgeous, gorgeous head feathers and everything. And we went and took some pictures. And like a week later, this poor thing, all the feathers are gone. And I thought, oh, the poor thing's dying. And then I looked it up and they lose. Once
molt.
mating season is over, they molt.
Yeah.
Now he just looks like a little tiny duck.
And we'll get its feathers back.
Yes, it will, but now he's not special.
That reminds me of a friend that I had who bought a ornamental plum tree from the nursery one day, took it home, planted it, and about a week later, all the leaves were gone. And he went back to the nursery and said, I think my tree's dying. What do I do? I think you need to give me another one. And the guy looked at him and said, I think, sir, you'll find they do this every year.
Yeah.
Just
yeah.
like the duck.
Yeah, but this duck is, when it's got all its feathers, it's just gorgeous.
Yeah.
And it's all by itself there, not there's no other ducks like it. And then all of a sudden it lost all those feathers and I thought, oh, the poor thing's dying, but no.
It better come back.
Yep, they'll be back.
Here comes the next one. Are we ready?
Yep.
Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Ooh.
This was
Linda.
This is me. Yep, this is me. I called it I'm Hungry. This is one of the two of the baby hummingbirds that were in a nest at Madrona March about a month ago. Scott goes birding there on Tuesday. He goes to Averill Park too, if Michelle knows.
I
And,
ran into Scott.
And
He
so
saw the
one
wood
day-
duck.
Yes, yes. And so Scott told me, hey, there's a nest, you got to come. So one lunch hour, I went and saw Adela there. But the birds they were smaller and you couldn't, the lighting was kind of harsh right at 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock, whatever it was. So then we went back the following Saturday, I mean, right that same weekend. And I think it was around 10. Brought my tripod with I'm a Sony person. So this was taken with the Sony A7 III with the 200 to 600 Sony lens. I have my other camera because I was walking around. So what I did on this one is I actually got it set up on the tripod. I'm pretty much, this is a little cropped, obviously, because I couldn't get closer. This was the best perspective you could have. So I focused in on it and I set up the intervals on my camera to take a picture every 30 seconds for 80 shots. So while it was doing its thing, I was walking around seeing if I could get closer. I was not successful. This was the best I could do. So I let it finish and then I took some other pictures. I came home and I looked at the pictures. And so pretty much a standard bird picture, pretty much the same orientation for the first whatever. And the last like 3 shots, and I'm just seeing the same thing over. And I said, nope, nope, nope. Finally, this one. And I went, that's the shot. So I just let my camera kind of do the work for me. I think I was on at F, doing a triangle thing. So my ISO was probably up a little bit because it was a little shady. I think I was at F11 because I was trying to get the shot. I might have missed some. You can see some areas is a little blurred, but where it matters, it's clear and sharp. And I even got a little catch eye in it. So enjoyed it. I tried to clean up around it, but you can't really do that. Birds don't necessarily live in the most cleanest area. There's a lot of debris here, and I decided I gave up. Kind of like the bill, I get tired of trying to clean up pictures, so I'm trying to do it more in camera. But sometimes you get what you get. But it was very cool to get this shot. A few days later, Scott went back. Birds were gone. We saw the other hummingbird. It was flying around, and I did get pictures of that with the other camera, but it was just so small and in the shade, you really can't see it. But this one still wasn't ready to leave yet. It was still kind of hanging out there. I love hummingbirds, one of my mom's favorite birds, so I kind of dedicated this in memory of her because she recently passed away. Well, 25 years ago, but June's the month that she passed away in. So I felt like this was for her. I love doing nature and things like that. So I obviously had an F11, but the bokeh was very nice. So it blurred out the background, but you still have some good detail here. So I was pretty happy with the picture. That's the picture I did not get that Thursday when I was in a rush. So it was kind of nice to just relax and take in the moment and see what else was going on. Any questions on that before I tell you what I'm doing next? Nope. Okay.
Wait, I have a question. You set up the timer thing on the camera, what you call it?
Intervals.
Yeah, the volt. So it just kept taking it by itself?
Yep. I used the internal one. I didn't have the separate.
Yeah.
I used the internal one I've used it a couple times and gotten some great effects on things that I wanted. Like I could get it all set up and I just let the moment happen and see what I capture. And it's really easy to set up once you get the hang of it.
Yeah, because I haven't used mine yet and it works pretty well, huh?
Yeah, it does. I wouldn't use it for nighttime, like starry night photography, although I know some people have, but I use it for this kind of stuff. It works really well. It works very, very well.
Linda,
yes.
I just want to let you know that I really like the way you captured the lower beak coming just up to that twig, but not overlapping it. I just think that's a really nice effect.
Well, I got very lucky. The bird just happened to do it at the right time in the right place.
Yeah. Birds are nice that way.
Any other angle, if you would have turned another way, it wouldn't have that effect.
Right.
And I love the fact that you could kind of want to reach and pet it because it feels, you can see the feathers and the clarity, and you can tell the branch in front. That was the branch that was closest, so it's out of focus, but the bird is in focus.
Yeah.
And, so it was pretty. It was pretty cool. I was really happy. I went, yay!
Very nice.
Didn't enter it to the Orange County Fair. It was not accepted. Oh well. Neither was my butterfly, but I got some other pictures in. So, so this was, I tried to get out, even though with COVID and everything else, I've still been doing photography. Did a class last year with Game On with the potato heads and playing different games for a year. Thought I'd continue that, but I did not. But I did, as Bill was talking about, I have some of those light things that, he's talking about, these things you can do different colors. And I just got to show you this real quick. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. But I've been playing with a lot of stills and I want to get better with light painting. You saw some of my examples. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that real well. This is, yeah, you can't really see it. But just trust me, I bought this at a garage sale. It's a lamp and it has round reflective things on it. And it looks really tacky, but I have a different idea for it. I'm going to use the lights and let the light reflect off of it and possibly some other things to get some neat lighting effect out of it. So
Linda, can you just hold still and hold the lamp up so we can see what you're talking about? Because you're going in and out of your
yeah, I'm trying to
background. Just hold still and put it up there and maybe we can see. And
let me see if it will.
Or at the end, if people are interested, we can go back to because it's too small.
Put it in front of your chest where your white shirt and your background isn't affecting your white shirt. Get closer to the screen. No, okay.
It's right up at the screen.
Yeah, no, I think we'll wait till the end, and if people have questions about it, we'll do that. How about that?
Back. Okay, there you go.
It might work if you took away the virtual background and just had a plain background, and then we would probably be able to see it.
I'll show it to you. Hold on. Give me a second. I can do that. That is true. I have a lot of stuff in here. Okay, yeah, you'll probably be able to see it now. Okay. Okay.
Oh yeah, we can see it. Oh my gosh, look at that.
It's actually a lamp, and I got it for $3. I tried to get it for $2. The girl wouldn't budge, but I just thought, oh, and so I brought it, and my friend said, oh, we know what you're going to do with that photography. Scott saw it and said, what's that, and why did you buy it? So some people are starting to get to know my mindset. But anyway, so what I'm doing is just playing around a lot with trying to be creative with light and environments. And you saw some of the balloon pictures that were the one with the light painting with it. That I showed a few months back. So I'm just experimenting with light and trying to get better with it. And also as far as pictures go, I'm trying to get out there once a week or whatever. But I was kind of in F8 mode for a long time. And now I'm in F11 mode because I want that clarity. And I'm really playing with manual. I'm mostly a manual. And really playing with that exposure triangle and playing with exposure, not being afraid to do a slower exposure if it's a still shot and seeing what I'm getting. And so I'm enjoying what I'm coming up with. So, and for next year, I'll just continue doing that kind of stuff and hopefully more opportunity to start doing doggy portraits will open up again so I can start doing those again. But nothing right now because of COVID. That's it.
Very nice.
All right.
We're gonna go, whoops, if I don't lose the photography entirely here, the photographs. Here we go. We're gonna go do the, I'm looking for my cursor. There's my cursor. Down there we have, and we want to enlarge this, I think. This is Libya. Olivia?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here. I love these pictures because the jaguar that look the big one on top of the other one, it's really only a cub of 5 months, more or less, and the mother. And it was fascinating. We were on a small boat, 9 photographers, so it was not easy to photograph because the boat was moving every time one of the photographers moved. And they were between the bushes, as you can see, all around bushes, and there were just a small opening, and it was dark, and just some light came from the outside. And it's just reminded me. And by the way, the mother wanted to sleep, and the cub wanted to play, and that was fascinating. We watched them for 2 hours, how he's trying to get his mother to move. And she exhausted probably from hunting the last night. And she fed him, and now she wants to sleep. And he didn't want to let her sleep. And he did anything he can do to get her to move. So it's reminding like the children. I remember me as a kid, I would go to my mother and open her eyes when she was resting afternoon because I wanted attention. And I see today children do the same thing. And I guess the animals do the same thing. So that's what kind of grabbed me.
How many cubs do the mothers have usually? Just one or?
Mostly 1 or 2. But I saw, I didn't see more than 1 or 2 there. But I know sometimes they get 3, but not everybody survived over there. So she had only 1, so I cannot tell you much about. And that's what I know. He looks bigger than her almost. From that angle, he looks bigger than her. I know, because she's lying down completely. Yeah. And he's on top, and I zoom all the way to their heads.
She's biting his paw.
Where was this?
In Brazil.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
Brazil has, the jaguars, and many photographers going there. And the funniest things was, we were very lucky. Usually people see 1 jaguar, 2 jaguars. We saw 17.
Oh my gosh.
And we went by a place where there was a jaguar. I have another picture that was far away. And I seen about 20 photographer boats were standing and trying to grab the picture. So our guide asked, do you want to stop here? Because we had like shot like this and close shots. So everybody says, yes. So I say, why? We want to, so everybody answers at the same time, we want to photograph the photographers. So it was very funny. But it was really a beautiful trip. I have a lot of pictures from this trip of the different jaguars we saw.
And your next trip is, whoop, I went to the next picture.
In 1.5 months, I'm going back to Africa, to Kenya, to see the crossing, hopefully, but it's a time of Wallaby crossing the river. So hopefully I'll get to see it.
All right, here we go. Next picture. I think this is Margaret, Pismo Beach.
Yes, this is a picture I took last year at Pismo. It was during the COVID, but we do a lot of camping in our RV along the beach area. And this is one of my favorite places. And it was an extremely hot day. It's unusual. And it was like 90 plus degrees where if you walk on the sand, your feet would get burnt. But this beach is one of the nicest beach I really enjoy is that the activity that goes on there. This was taken about maybe 4 or 5 o'clock before the sun set at 8. And in the background, you can see it's a dog-friendly beach, and people walk their dogs there, they jog, and of course there's surf fishing going on. But it's just one of my favorite pictures because it shows the intensity of the sun trying to set that day, and it was an extremely hot day. And I posted this on my Instagram, and I got a lot of likes, so that's why I thought I'd put this up as show your stuff. So that's about it. I mean, it's just that it was a beautiful a hot sunny day, and it just felt like it when I looked at the sunset.
It's amazing light.
And this is the first time I was using my my new camera, the Z6, and I didn't know what I was doing. I was just sort of just taking pictures, and this one turned out. So, yeah.
So the trick is to get the detail in the brightest parts of the picture. And it looks like you did a pretty darn good job.
Right.
The ocean there.
Yeah. What I enjoy is seeing the activity in the picture with the people enjoying the surf, the beach.
Yeah, it's beautiful
that day. So,
Margaret, this is March of this year or March of last year?
it was actually into September of last year during a heat wave.
Oh.
It was unusually hot there because it normally runs, I would say, 70 to high 60s up in Pismo Beach. It's usually cooler, but it was just extremely a hot day. It was so hot that after I got my dog out of the water, I just walked up to the town. And by the time I got the dog up to the town, she was all dried out.
Wow.
It felt like Palm Springs.
I haven't been there in a long time, but I used to go for years. Went up there once a year and spent about a weekend or a week at Pismo Beach. It's a wonderful place. I always love to go to the what I call Pelican Rock, which is actually in Shell Beach, just north.
Yes, you can walk. I walk from the RV park that we stay at, and I go straight across, and it's probably maybe about 2 or 3 miles to walk to that cliff line.
Yeah.
And one year we saw tons of pelicans just flying out, and they were just swarming. It's like 100 plus pelicans that breed up on that cliff.
Yeah, and they land on that rock that's kind of set off from the cliff.
Right, right. It's a
it's
beautiful
great.
place to go walk, though.
Yeah.
It's a very wide beach. And another pastime I like doing there is looking for sand dollars.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's one of the few beaches I can actually find sand dollars. And so I collect the sand dollars as my souvenirs.
You know that you're not supposed, I hope you know that you're not supposed to look direct to the sun through the camera and the lens. Do you know that?
I was just thinking of that. And when I took the picture, I didn't realize I was taking that. It was just like taking the people and the sun was in it. And I was like, oh, but I took it very quickly.
Never look into the sun. Look aside, aside of the sun, but never, you can burn your eye, actually burn your eye.
Ah, okay, Livia.
So you have to aim, and look to the side of the sun, not direct to the sun.
I think I was taking more of the people in it, and the sun was captured in it.
But then it's okay.
But I did crop the picture, so.
That's okay, as long as you don't look direct through the lens at the sun.
Okay.
It's very dangerous.
Yes, use your flip down screen for that, because you don't just burn your eye, you permanently destroy your eye.
And now, what are you going to do this next year? You're going to get many more beautiful pictures like this, right?
I'm doing more traveling.
I hope I do too.
Yeah, getting out, but we're pretty contained in how we travel. So, because we have an RV, so I'm not really in the hotels. And I don't know, end of the month, I'm probably going up to Mammoth and take some photography up in the mountains, the high Sierras.
Beautiful. Okay. We are going to go to the, oh, here we go. This is Mel Miller.
Mel Filler.
Mel Filler. Sorry
That's
about
better.
that. My glasses aren't so good.
That's okay.
My eyes are fine, but it's the glasses.
Yeah, wife and I are, really into traveling, and probably most of my photography is what you would call travel photography. This picture was taken in Beaufort, South Carolina. It's a very interesting small city. They have a huge historic district, and within the historic district are a whole bunch of these houses, and these are very old houses. This house was built prior to the Revolutionary War, so it has to be at least 250 years old. And these houses are not museums. These are houses that people live in, and if you're willing to buy a house or live in a house in that historic district, you are required to maintain the house in its original form, at least on the outside. I'm sure the insides have modern plumbing and electricity, but on the outside, they look pretty much as they did 250 years ago. Now, what attracted me about this particular house was this live oak tree right in front of it. The tree is probably even older than the house, and live oak trees are very common in that area of the South. And this one kind of framed the picture. I wish I had some pruning chairs and got rid of some of the foliage, but I think enough of the house shows through you can see the architecture of what a house looked like 250 years ago. And there was a whole bunch of houses just like this on that street. This particular one with the tree in the front was, as far as I'm concerned, it was the best of the bunch in terms of photography. And the Beaufort is right on the ocean, so the climate there is not too bad. We were there in April. Now, a lot of people were saying that that was too soon, and the pandemic was still raging. But in the South, they were pretty liberal, and we were vaccinated, of course, and most people were wearing masks, and we felt safe, and it worked out. It was a group tour, and as far as I know, no one got sick. So we took a little bit of a chance going that early, but it worked out. During last year, we had 3 trips that were canceled because of the pandemic, and we were getting a little itchy, and we decided it was time to take a trip, a domestic trip. I wouldn't attempt any foreign trips at this point, but domestic trips I think are relatively safe right now. As far as the photograph itself, I didn't do a whole lot to it. The tree came out kind of dark. It was mostly in the shade. I was able to lighten up the shadows so you could see the lines and the various aspects of the bark of the tree. And I think it does a very good job of framing that magnificent house right behind it. So I was very pleased with this picture. In fact, I was so pleased with it that I had it enlarged professionally to 11x14, framed it, and it's now hanging in my family room in my what I call my Hall of Fame of travel pictures. So that's pretty much the story. Any questions, comments?
You know it's taken somewhere else when you see the moss hanging down from the tree.
Yeah, right. That's the Spanish moss, and very common in that area. Just about every major tree has a lot of it there. And to me, this picture kind of really epitomized the Old South. This is the way people, houses and people lived in, before the Civil War, even before the Revolutionary War. And you go through this historic district, and it's really amazing that how close it is to what it was, 2 centuries ago. So
It reminded me of what we saw in New Orleans.
yeah,
Plantation houses and things like that in the tree. I said, first thing I saw was, oh, we went to New Orleans. That was my first instinct.
yeah. We've been to New Orleans, and it's somewhat similar. I think the houses in South Carolina and Georgia perhaps even a little bit older. But I find just amazing that people are living in houses that were built 2.5 centuries ago, and they take great pride in it.
Mine was built in 1927. I thought that was pretty old, but I guess not.
As far as traveling, we're
in a 1911 Chapman house.
Yeah. We have some more trips. We have a whole bunch of trips that were obviously planned, canceled, but we have another trip to the national parks in Utah and Colorado. I've been there before, but it's always beautiful to go there. And domestic trips are kind of safe now, so we're doing mostly domestic travel, and won't do any foreign travel until later next year. So my photography was kind of limited in 2020, but starting to pick up now.
It's good. Okay, we're going to go to Dick Merritt.
Okay. Well, last year I took a lot of really different kinds of pictures. Some of you I've shared them with some of you, and some of them were wild and crazy. This is a takeoff on the running of the bulls, which happens in Spain.
There you go.
This picture, of course, is a composite, and it was the alleyway is on the island of Mykonos, the Greek island, and the pigs were taken. Those pigs are from a party game. They're actually an inch or a little smaller than an inch apiece. So in this past year, I learned how to do focus stacking. I used the programs Helicon Focus and Helicon Remote. And so that I put them in the picture. And then on Photoshop, I was able to do a drop shadow. So that's why the pigs have little shadows. And then separately, I took the picture of myself in the garage and cut myself out and put myself into here. And I had to see what the costumes looked like. So I looked online, and then I had to send away for some of these red handkerchiefs to make myself look realistic, sort of, kind of. And so with a lot of the goofy pictures that I did this past year, I not only took the picture, but I also composed a little narrative explaining the picture. So this one, instead of Mykonos, I called the island Oinkos, that's for the pigs. And they don't have the running of the bulls. They don't have cheering crowds. But during the spring festival, there's nothing more exciting than the running of the pigs. Okay, enough of that. So that's about as crazy as you can get. But I did learn this past year, I did a lot of ultra close-up macro using focus stacking. And so that was a learning experience for me. And so I was able to get really, really up close with things. I used not only a macro screw-on lens, but I used as many as 4 extension tubes to do super magnification. And then I did a number of others, I'm calling them surreal pictures, takeoffs, Getty Challenge, that sort of thing. So even though I didn't go on trips, I actually did a lot of photography, come to think of it. So what am I going to do next year? Well, I just got a mirrorless camera, so I'm learning how to use it. And that's pretty much it.
Which camera did you get?
Yes, what is it? Yeah, the R5 Canon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's about 40 megapixels, something like that. So I'm learning how to use that, and so far I like it.
Very good.
Right. Going onward to Emily Riddell.
Well, this is underneath the pier down here in Redondo. I was down there, down on the beach in the spring and watching different angles of the sun where it's set. And I'm taking a class from Mark and Jill Sanders called Advanced Style. And one of the exercises was to do something, step out of the box a little bit, to do something that kind of scared you a little bit. When I started looking at getting under the pier, because I'm always afraid, a little bit afraid that I'm going to get drowned by a wave coming in and trapping me. So that was kind of like, getting up the nerve to get underneath the pier. And then, of course, I had to find the night when the tide was the lowest at night, so that I could get in underneath for about half an hour. And the surprise that came out of this was all these gold strikes. I actually did not see those when I was shooting them. So this kind of turned out to be kind of a neat shot, and I shot a whole lot of them. And the thing that I particularly liked about this one was the waves that underneath the pier over there on the right, the sparkle of the surf bubbling up. I don't know if you can see that over there.
Yeah.
So I mean, I've been taking this. I got a new camera, the Sony. I'm in Bill's Sony group, and at the same time, I'm trying to learn how to work this camera because it's so automatic that it just seems to have a mind of its own, regardless of whether I want to shoot that or not. And sometimes I'll get it all set up and then get it down low and get down on my knees to shoot and look at it, and the whole setting, everything's changed. So I'm still trying to overcome that. The class, I'm halfway through the class with Mark. And some of the time I'm enjoying it. We're studying two or three of the old photographers and their portrait styles. And while it's interesting and challenging, it's not particularly the direction I want to go in. The first couple of the classes were shooting selfies in various different styles, and I actually really got off on that. I thought that was really kind of fun. So anyway, that's what my future is. I haven't got my travel plans worked out yet. My traveling conflicts with my photography, conflicts with my bluegrass music playing, and so I'm doing a lot of traveling with that and studying it. So I have nothing to report on what I'm actually going to be doing photography wise in the future, except travel.
Good.
All right. Very good.
Very cool.
Did you have to sit down to take this picture, or did you take it standing up?
I kind of half crouched. It was interesting. I did this on a Monday night, which happened to be the low tide, but I went down on Saturday to shoot it, and there was a big sign, "Do not enter," and a big tape around the underneath the pier. And I thought, oh boy, I'm going to be in trouble now. I'm going to have to figure out how to sneak in and do this without getting caught. But Monday night, it turned out that nobody was there. So yeah, I kind of got down and crouched a little bit, but the tide was low enough that I could stand up pretty much.
Nice.
Cool.
All right, here we go.
Who is this?
This is Robin Young. Whoop, I'm trying to enlarge this picture.
Is Robin here? I don't think
Robin?
Robin's here.
Well, this is an amazing picture, and
Yeah.
I said I'm
It
looking
looks
forward.
like she, if I was gonna say anything, it looked like she took a class at Mark with Nina as the model and Katrina Brown as the light wizards for nighttime painting. I wasn't able to go that night, but I recognize her daughter, the model on there.
No,
Ah.
I did go to that class and yes, it's exactly what it was. And the thing that I thought ruined this whole thing for me was if you notice the background, they're shooting it on the back lot.
Yeah, that big
So
stripe down the
shots that-
back.
Parking.
any shots, yeah, on another building, and any shots that everyone would take to kind of enter in any competition, the background, everything's kind of ruined for it.
Yeah,
Well, you see the stripes.
It's just a neat picture.
it is a cool
Yeah.
picture.
It is.
Yeah. Except for that pipe stripe down the back.
Mhm.
Yeah.
There's other things. There's this parking bricks or something going on back here.
Well, that's not as bad as that thing that's right behind
Yeah,
the
this.
model.
This.
Yeah, that right there. Yeah.
The other thing that was difficult is he had way too many people. And so they had to have people standing and then another row of people sitting or kneeling below. And you were in the same position for about half an hour.
Oh.
So it was so I actually never could get into the center because I'm not as clever as Robin. So I have everything I've got's a little off kilter. And so nothing that I brought back was satisfying to me.
But it's interesting that this incredible lady that does this painting is amazing. They took us out to, and I can't remember where, and we took pictures of the stars. So it was in an out of the way place, no buildings, no backdrops that got in the way. And I couldn't, because it was so dark, I couldn't personally work it. But I think Karen Beatty, who's here, she has some beautiful pictures of the light painting that these people do. It's amazing what they do.
Yes, it was at Joshua Tree, and I got a lot of good ones, and I did a slideshow of it too, called Goddesses of the Night. I showed it to the Camera Club.
Oh.
And it's on YouTube under, I think, either Karen W. or Karen Warhurst Beatty. It's on YouTube.
Oh.
Oh,
that's great. But it's beautiful. It's beautiful what this lady does. Very creative, or ladies, or this group.
Katrina Brown and her daughter.
Katrina Brown, yeah.
That's what I want to get into more. That's what my next aim.
It's too hard for me. I'm going to shoot animals that come right up to me. I'm going to wait all day for them to come.
You're going to sit across the street and wait for them to come to you, huh, Ben?
Absolutely. There
Across the
you go.
street from your house.
Yeah, that fox happened to cross our driveway and get up on our, there's a wall, a brick wall in front of our house and was up on that. And Tom saw him, but I didn't. And that was the week that he came, but he hasn't been back since. Anyway, we're done with the show your stuff. Does anybody have any comments or something else they'd like to show? I don't even know what time it is.
Does Dawn have a picture?
Dawn's supposed to show something.
Dawn Stouter.
Dawn, oh my gosh, Dawn, I'm going to get out and you're going to share your screen. I'm going to stop sharing.
Okay.
I'm stopping sharing. Boy, am I glad somebody else can remember things better than me.
Well, let's
Here you go.
try again. Oh, yeah, there it is.
And now you're going to share your screen.
I'm going to share my screen. The reason why we have to do it differently is that this started off as 34 raw images I took from my drone. And what it does, what you have to do with one of those kinds of images is you have to first stitch it together. And then you have to go to the right kind of website that can explain or display the picture to get why you took it as a 360 degrees. And it's easy to take the picture. The drone that I have has a button basically I push and it hovers at whatever altitude I'm at and swivels around and looks as high up as it can. and is perfectly stable for those 34 images. Actually, mine takes 68 because the drone can take the raw as well as JPEG images themselves. So this is just a static image that you're seeing, but not really. You can, I assume you're seeing this going around?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so you can zoom in, go around. By the way, I'll show you in a minute.
Oh, it distorts the houses though.
Well, it's hard not to do it if you're not taking a picture on a ball. Oh, what happened? Where did that go? Hang on, I lost it. It'll be here again. I hope.
We're still seeing it anyway.
Yeah, but it's frozen. Hang on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don, is that you in the garage?
Well, I was going to get to that.
Uh-oh.
Okay, but I wanted to, I'm about probably about 150 feet high, I think. But it's amazing the amount of detail that you see. If I just kind of slowly scroll around, and I'll get around. This is my house with the orange roof, and as Dick pointed out, that's me. I'm flying the drone in my house, or the garage, I mean.
Wow.
And if you scroll out, you can see that there's quite a bit of zooming in you can do and still maintain the detail. The problem is you undoubtedly see right now is that the camera setting is fixed. It doesn't change its settings. It's going around in the various views of what's around them. And so you get, obviously, unless it's a very cloudy day, you get to the place where you're overexposed. And that's part of the trick is trying to pick the right day or the right time of a day to do it. And as it's pointed out, depending on what you do, as you zoom, it's distorted. But you can always manipulate, like where you get the horizon pretty well straight, and then take a frame grab of it, for example. And actually, as weird as Facebook is, it's one of the few sites that you can just upload this and people on Facebook can see it, do exactly what I'm doing here. I think I shared this one, or not shared it, but created the what's the proper word I'm looking for? The production of it on a site called 360 Moments or something like that. So anyway, that's why we're doing it this way for me, which kind of leads into what I spent my time doing. It's a lot of things go into, number one, flying a drone. Right now, I went and I was in, where was it? Oh, I was out in Temecula area. I was going to fly my drone this last weekend and was all excited, found a neat park, and I went to fly it. And my internal, I think it's called measurement unit, IMU, needed calibrating. I couldn't get it calibrated, so I couldn't fly my drone at all. But I was there to watch softball anyway, so it didn't matter. But the point is there's a lot to getting this. It's not just taking the one picture, it's all the steps. And then trying to get I do adjust the picture as best I can after it comes out of the camera. So that kind of leads me into, let me put this around to where I get a good view, leave you with a good, whoops, that's distorted. That kind of leads you into what I did last year, probably what I'll be doing the next 10 years, trying to figure out how to do it better. And I also have a 360 camera that's about the size of, well, maybe about 2.5 inches high and about 3/4 of an inch wide. Best way to do is you stick it on a pole, like they used to have those selfie sticks that they don't allow anymore. And if you put it on the pole and you hold it above your head, you can take 4K video as well as single images. And then whenever you want to look at a certain view, otherwise you've got a 360 video that you can take parts of. So this whole world of 360, and maybe Emily, maybe you can tell me, or Beverly, is there a particular group in PSA that deals with this kind of image?
Jerry Fleury might be able to answer that. I don't do anything with PSA except take their magazine.
Oh,
I don't know.
I can check to see if there's a drone category.
I'm in the drone category, group 85.
Oh,
I'm talking about this kind of image. We just can show flat pictures like, we were doing that were taken by a drone. Anyway, that's okay. I'll look into that, Jerry.
okay.
I guess next year, probably I'm going to be doing a lot more traveling, although I'm afraid I broke rules and traveled this year. Much of my photography is sports. My granddaughter's one playing soccer, the other playing travel team softball. So that takes me throughout the country at times, depending on what part they're playing. And during COVID, I went to Utah a couple times and Vegas and Boulder City and all kinds of places like that. So, but just getting better at everything is what I'm trying to do. I'm taking a PSA class now in Photoshop. It's called beginner, but that's good for me because it's so easy to do things without really getting into understanding layers and masks and layer masks and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, that's my picture, and I think we're right on time. That's pretty good. Okay, I think that's it for me.
All right.
Let me see if I can stop sharing here. By the way, I recorded this, and Don or Emily or anybody, is it worth putting up on YouTube for the people who didn't watch tonight?
I don't see why not.
How much trouble is it to put it on YouTube? I bet some people would be interested in seeing this.
Okay, I guess Don, I'll probably, oh no, never, yeah, I'll feed it to you, Don. When I got it ready, I can edit and maybe take out the very beginning of the meeting, concentrate on just when we were talking about the pictures and started showing them. And then I'll give it to you, Don, and you can post a link somewhere. Okay, Don?
Okay, let me know. And
Yeah, it'll probably take several days, but.
let me know and I'll send out the link.
Okay, all right, that's all for me.
All right.
Okay.
Very good. Thank you.
All right, that
Sounds
was a
good.
good meeting. I'm glad everybody, all the people that put in photos, that was wonderful.
Yeah.
It's very enjoyable and very interesting. So,
Yep.
I like knowing what people are going to do next year.
right.
I'm living vicariously here.
We'll wait and find out what they did.
Exactly. We'll live through others' experiences here.
We'll see how many of us actually accomplish our goals.
Yeah.
Well, you never accomplish
I think
your goals.
Emily needs to go in the ocean and take pictures underwater. Emily Sandersfeld. I'm looking forward to those pictures
Yeah.
being done.
Yeah.
Don, have you thought about taking drone pictures at the national parks, and you could like
You can't. They're
And
outlawed. They're also outlawed everywhere in Palos Verdes.
Oh,
I caught somebody doing a drone picture. It's a beautiful picture in silhouette, and he had the drone coming into him. And I
yeah.
thought, oh my gosh, it was on the cliffs of. I've only been on the cliffs of Paseo del Mar. Well, I've been other places, but mostly I've taken pictures there. Beautiful picture, and I thought, how did he get away with that? Because he was going to get caught any minute.
But the thing is, the way I look at it, when you're right at more towards Redondo, and you're off, the path is right over the rocks.
Yes.
You're flying out over the ocean. You aren't in TV. And they have it posted in their public parks. And I don't go there. I used to. I got some pictures before they posted. But it's just if you're a drone flyer, it's frustrating.
Yeah.
But that's, it is what it is. But I did get caught once over San Pedro after they brought in that, during COVID, when they brought in the medicine ship there.
Yes.
And I was
RC.
over where the old ports of call was, parking lot. And I just landed and up came a couple of cops and they saw that I either saw it or that they implied that they monitored it by the signals my drone was putting out. And they just gave me a warning. But I don't know if I were to do that today, whether it would mean anything. They said it was all the security they'd set up around that medical ship that was parked there for a while. Anyway, I haven't ventured back.
Well, you know, recently, what is it, Boca Chica? I guess a drone crashed there.
Yes, I was
and
amazed.
Birds just scattered and lots of
And
birds.
ruined, I mean,
babies
killed
birds.
them all, or the new.
It killed some birds?
It didn't hit any, I think.
It burned them in the nest, but it
I think
crashed.
it scared them away, so they.
Yeah,
So they
right.
never came back.
It
So-
scared them away so the eggs won't hatch now.
They won't hatch.
Yeah, that is
About
really,
2 weeks ago.
yep,
That's really
it was in the
bad.
paper.
Yeah.
In the
Yeah,
paper. You forget about little things like that.
yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I'd never gone to try to fly there. I wouldn't want to be associated with that.
So you're
No.
saying no drones in Palos Verdes? Because I was at Point Vicente Interpretive Center yesterday, and there was a drone flying around right there.
Well, I'll tell you exactly. I know exactly probably where you were. I was flying there several months ago, maybe close to a year. And I was in the parking lot that they have there was in the green parkland behind it there, well away from the center. Drone nowhere near that. And about 10 minutes after I took off, one of the staff came out and said, you have to get your land your drone or it's a $350 fine.
Wow.
And now they have a sign as you go north of the interpretive center, there's a sign that says no drone flying. And so I've walked further and I think that's the first sign. So now I go, I can go further and there isn't particularly sign, there's not a sign. So, but yeah, I think the guy was lucky, or maybe my staff member wasn't working that day.
Interesting.
I was out at that interpretive center, and there was a bird on the ground, an owl. And and the owl was attacked by the peregrine falcon, and the owl was incapacitated and had lost one eye, and it was just kind of laying there passively, and some of the crows were coming up, and so they tried to call the animal. They called the animal
Shelter or something.
rescue, and they put him in a box, but it was kind of they were saying that the owls attacked the peregrine falcons nests, and so they this was a kind of a response for them protecting their nests right on the cliff.
They just showed some pictures a couple days ago on Facebook. Some people were flying some remote control airplanes right where the peregrine falcons are at Point Furman. And the people were really mad because there were pictures of the planes right next to the falcons. And the photographers trying to get pictures of the falcons were really upset about it.
That's a good point, because the peregrine falcon was flying at the just a few minutes before I saw that drone. I wasn't sure what the drone was trying to take pictures of. Maybe that was it.
Yeah, it could be. But
It
these
might have
were
been the opposite too, though.
planes.
But the flyer of the drone, whether or not you want to argue that he shouldn't have been flying there at all, he might have been flying, and the falcons could have come up to the drone.
Yeah.
He may not have tried to get close to them, because a lot of that kind of stuff happens. Sometimes the drone will even be attacked by some kind of a bird. So,
Yeah.
Are those monoplanes also outlawed in PV? Like drone?
There's a place at the end of Crenshaw where you can fly sailplanes not powered electric planes. No, I think the PV law is, or signs imply that anything with an electric motor, drones, and I'm sure they use the word drone to get their point across, but I think an electric powered model airplane remote control would be disallowed as well. They aren't being, drones get all the publicity, but the problems can also come from an RC airplane.
That's at that park at the top of the hill, top of Crenshaw.
Yeah.
Del
yeah,
Cerro
that's the
Park.
park
It's
I'm
called Del
talking about.
Cerro.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're a member of the Silent Sailors or something like that, you can fly off there above the grassy area.
Haven't been up there for a while.
And I used to fly there too.
It happened in Bolsa Chica the same, and the drone came down and they say he destroyed, because they were sitting on the eggs and the eggs were abandoned, and they said they destroyed a whole generation of terns.
Yeah, that's what, yeah, we were just talking
boy.
about it. Yeah. Yeah, because the mothers all disappeared.
Yeah, they
And-
abandoned because they
Yeah.
didn't know.
I don't,
Yeah.
the story that I saw in the paper didn't highlight how long the drone had been flying in the area, to spook the birds. It said it crashed. Well,
It crashed.
I was in Bolsa Chica and the people that saw it in the morning, I didn't, I came afternoon. The people say they just took off, all the terns took off.
I wonder how long the drone was bothering them.
No, as I said, he crashed, or I don't know if he crashed or went all the way down, but somebody say he crashed over there.
Oh, yeah, it did. It did crash. But how long does it take the drone to crash? I was surprised that birds didn't come back after it quieted down.
I don't know, but I know, whatever it is, they say, later I saw an article that they say that all generation of terns.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I guess Bolsa Chica isn't on my sites to fly at.
Yeah. Well, the
We
problem
had a
is
conversation in the drones.
there are responsible drone operators, but unfortunately, there's a bunch of idiots.
That's right.
And they ruined it for everybody. That's all.
They definitely did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
There's
that's never happened before, has it?
no. That never happens. No.
A lot of crazy drivers out there too.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
They should took their license.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, going back to the story that I guess everybody already read, is that the fella went to the authorities to get his drone back, and that got him. Although we all have to have serial numbers on them that the FAA knows about. I'm registered with the FAA, so.
Yeah.
Anyway,
His drone back?
pardon me?
Did they give him his drone back?
Probably along with a fine.
Huge fine.
I don't know if they might have warned him. I don't know how flagrant, his violation was in terms of whatever, but obviously the results were quite bad.
Yeah.
And all the negative publicity doing that has caused, they probably felt obligated to fine him in some way. But I bet if I say were to crash somewhere in PV and needed my drone back and landed on a roof or something, I'd get a warning, but but I think the fact that the devastation that's caused to the birds, yes, is probably pretty bad.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay, well, good meeting,
Okay.
everybody.
Very
Yeah.
good.
Very nice.
Enjoyable.
Yeah.
See you
Very nice.
all at the banquet.
Okay.
I learned how to whatever it is I did with my screen by going to view.
Yeah. Very good.
Where's my screen?
Yeah, so you clicked.
I
on
always
the-
learn something.
You did
Yeah.
full view.
Make sure you send your stuff in the dawn.
Bye,
Yeah.
guys. Take care. everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Okay, so long,
Okay.
everyone.
We're leaving.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.